Hello viewers, welcome back to another video. It's 9:50 p.m. right now and it's 27th of March 2026. We were on page number 471. We have to start from the topic how to automate a habit and never think about it again. I hope you can see it. Yeah. Let's start without any further delay today because I have to sleep early today and wake up early tomorrow. I'm trying to build my sleep schedule, guys. It's posing a lot of issues in my daily routine, so that's why I'm trying to shift it a bit early. So let's start without any delay. I apologize for the pause, guys. So let's start the timer again. Yeah. How to automate a habit and never think about it again. John Henry Peterson was born in Dayton, Ohio in 1844. He spent his childhood doing chores on the family farm and working shifts at his father's sawmill. After attending college at Dartmouth Peterson, after attending college at Dartmouth, Dartmouth, Peterson returned to Ohio and opened a small supply store for coal miners. It seemed like a good opportunity. The store faced little competition and enjoyed a steady stream of customers, but still struggled to make money. That was when Peterson discovered his employees were stealing from him. In the mid 1800s, employee theft was a common problem. Was stealing from him. Employees thefts was common problem. Receipts were kept in open drawer and could easily be altered or discarded. There were no video cameras to review behavior and no software to track transactions unless you were willing to hover over your employees every minute of the day or to manage all transactions yourself was difficult to prevent theft. As Peterson mulled over his predicament, Peterson mulled over his predicament, he came across an advertisement for a new invention. He came across an advertisement. Came across an advertisement for a new invention called Rete's interruption cashier or interrupt. It's not visible, guys. I hope you can see. I don't know, it was misprinted or something. So let's continue. Designed by fellow Dayton resident James Ritty, it was the first cash register. The machine automatically logged the cash and receipts inside after each transaction. Peterson bought two for $50 each. Two for $50 each. Employee theft at his store vanished overnight. In the next 6 months, Peterson's business went from losing money to making $5,000 in profit, the equivalent of more than $100,000 per day. Equivalent of more than $100,000 today. Peterson was so impressed with the machine that he changed businesses. He bought the rights to Ritty's invention and opened the National Cash Register Company. 10 years later, National Cash Register had over 1,000 employees and was on its way to become one of the most successful businesses of its time. The best way to break a bad habit is to make an impractical to do. Is to make it impractical to do. Increase the friction until you don't even have the option to act. The brilliance of the cash register was that It automated ethical behavior by making stealing practically impossible. Rather than trying to change the employees, it made the preferred behavior automatic. Some actions like installing a cash register pay off again. Some actions like installing a cash register pay off again and again. These one-time choices require a little bit of effort up front but create increasing value over time. I'm fascinated by the idea that a single choice can deliver returns again and again. And I surveyed my readers on their favorite one-time action that led to better long-term habits. The table on the following page shares some of the most popular answers. I'd wager that if the average person were to simply do half of the one-time actions on this list, even if they didn't give another thought to their habits, most would find themselves living a better life a year from now. These on-time actions are a straightforward way to employ the third law of behavior change. These one-time actions are a straightforward way to employ the third law of behavior change. They make it easier to sleep well, eat healthy, be productive, save money, and generally live better. One time actions that lock in good habits. Nutrition. Buy a water filter to clean your drinking water. Use smaller plates to reduce caloric intake. Happiness. Get a dog. Move to a friendly social neighborhood. Sleep. Buy a good mattress, get blackout curtains, remove your television from your bedroom. General health. Get vaccinated, buy good shoes to avoid back pain, buy a supportive chair or standing desk. Productivity. Unsubscribe from emails, turn off notifications and mute group chats. Set your phone to silent. Use mail filters to clear up your inbox. Email filters to clear up your inbox. Delete games and social media apps on your phone. Finance. Enroll in automatic savings plan. Set up automatic bill pay. Cut cable service. Ask service provider to lower your bills. Service providers to lower your bills. Of course, these are many ways to automate good habits and eliminate bad ones. Typically, they involve putting technology to work for you. Typically, they involve putting technology to work for you. Technology can transform actions that were once hard, annoying, and complicated into behaviors that are easy, painless, and simple. It is the most reliable and effective way to guarantee the right behavior. This is particularly useful for behaviors that happen too infrequently to become habitual. Things you have to do monthly or yearly, like rebalancing your investment portfolio, are never repeated frequently enough to become a habit. So they benefit in particular from technology remembering to do them for you. Other examples include prescriptions can be automatically refilled, personal finance. Employees can save for retirement with an automatic wage deduction. Cooking, meals delivery services can do your grocery shopping. Meal delivery services can do your grocery shopping. Productivity, social media browsing can be cut off with a website blocker. When you automate as much as your life as possible, you can spend your effort on the tasks machines cannot do yet. Each habit that we hand over to the authority of technology frees up time and energy to pour into the next stage of growth. As mathematician and philosopher Alfred North Whitehead wrote, civilization advances by exceeding the number of operations that we can perform without thinking about them. Of course, the power of technology can work against us as well. Binge watching becomes a habit because you have to put more effort and stop looking at the screen. Binge watching becomes a habit because you have to put more effort in to stop looking at the screen than to continue doing so. Instead of pressing a button to advance to the next episode, Netflix or YouTube will autoplay it for you. So you have to keep so all you have to do is keep your eyes open. Technology creates a level of convenience that enables you to act on your smallest whims and desires. At the mere suggestion of hunger, you have food delivery at your door, to your door. At the slightest hint of boredom, you can get lost into the vast expanse of social media. When the effort required to act on your desire becomes effectively zero, you can find yourself slipping into whatever impulse arises at the moment. The downside of automation is that we can find ourselves jumping from easy task to easy task without making time for more difficult but ultimately more rewarding work. I often find myself gravitating towards social media during any downtime. If I feel bored for just a fraction of a second, I reach for my phone. It's easy to write off these minor distractions as taking a break, but over time they can accumulate into a serious issue. The constant the constant tug of just one more minute can prevent me from doing anything can prevent me from doing anything of consequence. I'm not the only one. The average person spends 2 hours per day on social media. What could you do with extra 600 hours per year? During the year I was writing this book, I experimented with a new time management strategy. Every Monday, my assistant would reset the passwords on all my social media accounts, which logged me out on each device. All week I worked without distraction. On Friday, she would send me the new passwords. I had the entire weekend to enjoy what social media had to offer until Monday morning when she would do it again. If you don't have an assistant, team up with a friend or family member and reset each other's password each week. One of the biggest surprises was within the first week how quickly I adapted Within the first week of locking myself out of social media, I realized that I didn't need to check it nearly as often as I had been, and I certainly didn't need it each day. It had simply been so easy that it had become the default. Once my bad habit became impossible, I discovered that I did actually have the motivation to work on more meaningful tasks. After I removed the mental candy from my environment, it became much easier to eat the healthy stuff. When working on your favor, automation can make your good habit inevitable and your bad habits impossible. It's a good line. When working in your favor, automation can make your good habits inevitable and your bad habits impossible. Hmm. The ultimate way to lock in future behavior rather than relying on willpower in the moment by utilizing commitment devices, strategic one time decisions, and technology. You can create an environment of inevitability, a space where good habits are not just an outcome you hope for but an outcome that is virtually guaranteed. Chapter summary. The inversion of the third law of behavior is to make it difficult. A commitment device is a choice you make in the present that locks in better behavior in the future. The ultimate way to lock in future behavior is to automate your good habits, that is, and make and automate the process of making bad habits impossible. Automate that too. One-time choices like buying a better mattress or enrolling in an automatic savings plan are single actions that automate your future habits and deliver increasing returns over time. A single action that automate your future habits and deliver increasing returns over time. Using technology to automate your habits is the most reliable and effective way to guarantee the right behavior. How to create a good habit? The table again. Make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, make it satisfying. How to break a bad habit? Make it invisible, make it unattractive, make it difficult, make it unsatisfying. We read up to page. We read up to second inversion of, sorry, the second law that make it attractive. So we have to read the make it easy part for a good habit. Reduce friction, decrease the number of steps between you and your good habits. Prime the environment. Yeah, we read this also. Use the 2 minute rule. Downscale your habits until they can be done in 2 minutes or less. Automate your habits. Invest in technology and one-time purchases that lock in future behavior. Yeah, this is the thing we have to read. Make it difficult. How to break a bad habit? Make it difficult. Increase friction. Increase number of steps between you and your bad habits. Use a commitment device. Restrict your future choices to the ones that benefit you. Okay. So the fourth law, make it satisfying. I think this is going to make it. This is going to a bit interesting. This chapter is going to a bit interesting because I'm finding trouble doing so. That's why I think this will be helpful for me personally. So let's start with the chapter number 15, the cardinal rule of behavior change. In the late 1990s, a public health worker named Stephen Loewy left his hometown of Omaha, Nebraska, Omaha, Nebraska, and bought a one-way ticket to Karachi, Pakistan. Karachi was one of the most populous cities in the world. By 1998, over 9 million people called it home. It was the economic center of Pakistan and the transportation hub with some of the most active airports and seaports in the region. In the commercial parts of the town, you could find all of the standard urban amenities and bustling downtown streets. But Karachi was one of the least livable cities in the world. Over 60% of Karachi's residents lived in squatted settlements and slums. These densely packed neighborhoods were filled with makeshift households cobbled together from old boards, cinder blocks, and other discarded materials. There was no waste removal system, no electricity grid, no clean water supply. When dry, the streets were a combination of dust and trash. When wet, they became a muddy pit of sewage. Mosquito colonies thrived in pool of stagnant water, and children played among the garbage. The unsanitary conditions led to a widespread illness and disease. Contaminated water sources caused epidemics of diarrhea, vomiting, and abdominal pain. Nearly one-third of the children living there were malnutrition. With so many people crammed into such a small place, viruses and bacterial infections spread rapidly. It was this public health crisis that had brought Stephen Loewy to Pakistan. Loewy and his team realized that it was in an environment with poor sanitation and simple habit of washing your hands. Loewy and his team realized that in an environment with poor sanitation, the simple habit of washing your hands could make a real difference in the health of residents. But they soon discovered that many people were already aware that hand washing is important, and yet, despite this knowledge, many residents were washing their hands in haphazard fashion. Some people would just run their hands under water quickly, others would only wash one hand. Many would simply forget to wash their hands before preparing food. Everyone said hand washing is important, but few people made a habit out of it. The problem wasn't knowledge, the problem was consistency. That was when Loewy and his team partnered with Procter and Gamble. Procter and Gamble, to supply the neighborhood with Safeguard soap. Lifebuoy. Compare compared compared to a standard bar of soap, using Safeguard was more except enjoyable experience. In Pakistan, Safeguard was a premium soap, Luby told me. The study participants commonly mentioned how much they liked it. The soap formed the soap foamed easily and people were able to lather their hands with suds. It smelled great. Instantly hand washing became slightly more pleasurable. I see the goal of hand washing promotion not as a behavior change but as habit adoption. Luby said it's a lot easier for people to adopt a product that provides a strong positive sensory signal. For example, the mint taste of toothpaste than it is to adopt a habit that does not provide pleasurable sensory feedback like flossing one's teeth. The marketing team at Procter and Gamble talked about trying to create a positive hand washing experience. Within months, the researchers saw a rapid shift in the health of children in the neighborhood. The rate of diarrhea fell by 52%, pneumonia by 48%, and impetigo, a bacterial skin infection, by 35%. The long term effects were even better. When we went back to some of the households in Karachi 6 years after, Luby told me over 95% of the household who had been given the soap on for free and encouraged to wash their hands had a hand washing station with soap and water available when our study team visited. We had not given any soap we had not given any soap to the for over intervention group for over 5 years, but during the trial they had become so habituated to wash their hands that they had maintained the practice. It was a powerful experience of the fourth and final law of behavior change make it satisfying. With the more likely to repeat We are more likely to repeat a behavior when the experience is satisfying. This is entirely logical. The feeling of pleasure, even minor ones like washing your hands with soap that smells nice and lathers well, a signal that tell the brain this feels good. Do this again next time. Pleasure teaches your brain that a behavior is worth remembering and repeating. Take the story of chewing gum. Chewing gum had been sold commercially throughout the 1800s, but it wasn't until Wrigley launched in 1891 that it became a worldwide habit. Early visions were made from early visions Versions were made from relatively bland resins, chewy but not tasty. Regular revolutionized the industry by adding flavor like spearmint and juicy fruit, which made the product flavorful and fun to use. Then they went to then they went a step further and began pushing. Oh, sorry, the timer is up, guys. Yeah, it's been 1 minute since the timer went off. I couldn't hear it because I didn't put my earbuds on. It's okay, but it's okay though. Let's complete this page. I'm on page number 185. Regular revolutionized the industry by adding flavors like spearmint and juicy fruit, which made the product flavorful and fun to use. Then they went a step further and began pushing chewing gum as a pathway to clean mouth. Advertisement told readers to refresh your taste. Tasty flavors and feeling of fresh mouth provided little bits of immediate reinforcement and made the product satisfying to use. Consumption skyrocketed and Wrigley became Wrigley became the largest chewing gum company in the world. Guys, we read up to page number 185. Oh shit, I forgot. Here my sister's bookmark was left. Only she knows. Let me ask her after completing this. Let me keep it at page number 15 just in case. So yeah, so that's it. I hope you liked today's read. Let me summarize what we did today. One-time choices like buying a mattress. There's a kid outside. One-time choices like buying a mattress or enrolling in an automatic saving plan are actions that automate your future habits and deliver increasing returns over time. Using technology to automate your habits is the most reliable and effective way to guarantee the right behavior and eliminate the bad ones also, guys. The cardinal rule of behavior change. Yeah. So we started about reading about the satisfying impact of behaviors. How a behavior that is satisfying changes our habits, how impacts our habits. We took example of Karachi, which was a slum in the 1980s. In 1998, and once they were given Life Boy, I mean the soap, what was that soap called?